2018. Time has passed by very quickly. It is pretty amazing how time just fly by. My name is Warren, and I'm here to basically my own personal vlog that I have started. I've been streaming for a while now, ever since I believe around 2017, after my midlife crisis, which I have fortunately survived. But I'm now here on Twitch, which I've been introduced a long time ago, I believe 2015. My friend introduced me, which I'm very grateful. I've been a fan of Twitch for a while now. My favorite platform has been my go-to to basically improve my personal social life. YouNow was also a platform for me as well, but I ended up getting banned from that server due to my ignorance. I haven't been able to come back. Today my vlog is basically about mathematics, my personal journey through the study of complex equations, in particular integrals. And the purpose of my vlog is to pretty much just talk about the subject as much as I can, and hopefully basically it's a dialogue between me and myself and many people who might be interested in the subject and kind of want to be exposed to it a little bit. These subjects are not very well spoken of in the public, in the public forums or whatever. And my intention is to just, get this out there. I use a special blackboard here, and I guess that's good that I just put that on so that people know what I'm basically about. This will go on YouTube. Anyways, I'm here somehow because of all my personal decisions have led me up to this point. I personally believe that streaming is the future, and with the coming of 5G, it's very exciting activity. I think more people should stream more, and that everybody should express themselves. Is my personal belief in that. Ever since I read the book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do, which urges people to express themselves. We're talking about, what are we talking about here? Partial fractions, okay. It takes me a while to write this down, unfortunately. It's like a chalkboard. I do feel very fortunate today. I'm very actually fatigued to stream right now, but I was watching an Army Ranger video, documentary, and I'm very inspired how they conduct operations, even though they had that lack of sleep. It really inspired me to push myself, push my willpower to keep on working despite the fatigue and despite the need for sleep. I am under the influence of some caffeine for my diet soda, and I'm also attempting to refrain from eating, as I've been eating a lot lately. I ate this morning. I had a 400 calorie cookie with milk. I believe that's contributed to my feeling bloated at this moment, so I'm sort of trying not to eat. So again, it has that special forces element to it, where you have to stay awake, and also you're hungry, and you have to also complete your whatever mission it is. And now my mission for now is to pretty much go over a very complex problem dealing with fractions, in particular the integral of a fraction. I'm not going to really expound on integrals at this time. I've made some videos talking about integrals. Integrals is a very nice mathematical, it's a calculus method, really nice. I believe it's an art in itself. It took a lot of creativity to produce those integrations. At this time I also stream because I've cut a lot of my social ties, and I've attempted to, a lot of people are just too busy to socialize nowadays. And with the current situation, the political, the economic, the healthcare system, particularly where I am, is really, I mean, life is just screwed up. It's just expected. So there's another special forces element to it. And as a special forces tier 1 operator, you have to be able to adapt. And I'm very excited to adopt that mindset. And I go into philosophy a lot in my videos. Again, this is a vlog. It's not really one of those instructional videos. This is more in-depth, dialogue, inspired by Socrates, the Socratic dialogue, Socratic attitude, Socratic method. One of the great philosophers out there really inspired me to do this. I think it's very important, especially for mental health, to talk about these very difficult problems and to engage in them and to just talk about them. There's no need for experience. There's no need for the need to know any background, specialty. That's not what it's about. We learn by dialogue, and that's what I try to do as often as I can, especially at my age. The reason why I stream is to make sure I keep my sanity, because we are in a prison. We are in planet Earth, which I consider a prison. We are literally on a rock, swirling in outer space. It is a prison to me, and essentially I'm just doing my time, and to ensure that I don't go insane, I do these various activities so that I don't lose my mind. And a lot of people do lose their mind and they end up in a real prison, which is very sad and unfortunate. I do see a lot of different viewers going on my video. They come in and they leave. They see this equation. I'm just like, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, these equations are very scary. But it will take a philosophical eye to look at this problem and, okay, what is this? What is the meaning of it? For me, I had to look at it at a philosophical mindset, because without that, because I believe that the foundation of all knowledge and learning was the search for wisdom, search for Socrates said that the purpose of life is to seek understanding of how everything works. And that, I mean, that guy took a cup of hemlock and died in peace. I think his philosophy is one of the best philosophies in the world that one could ever expose themselves to. Is, I would say, very epic. Here we have a very particular problem here, is that we have these factors that are greater than 1, and we're going to look at the step here. Basically, the first step is to essentially, what are the first step that we have to do? I think I may have done this problem before, but to basically the first step, or step 1, is what is known as decomposition. You're going to decompose this equation. So basically, we're going to use an arrow to show where we are going. Very important. In this particular problem, we have to basically, actually, hold on. We don't want to I would say expand. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to expand. I do not expect a lot of views on this particular subject at all, because these are very scary, monstrous, intimidating, formulas. You'll see this, and it's very complex, and even I don't even know what they're really used for. I'm pretty sure in specialties such as engineering, they would probably be of use. Again, we are factoring x squared out of the equation, and we will get x minus 2. So we have basically x squared and x minus 2. Now what we can do is what is known as decomposition. I basically started this stream in the hopes that more people will steam their particular subjects that they're very interested in. Mine is astronomy, philosophy, and programming, and mathematics, and all that good stuff. To make it more a public, dialogue, so that more people will be more interested in this, their concepts. There's a lot of things in life that many people, especially philosophers, have thought about already. They have looked into this. For example, the Buddha, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, he himself have examined the extremities of life, reviewed it, thought about it, even starved himself to really look at the source of human suffering. A lot of people suffer today, and they do not really know the answer. Why are they suffering? But we will suffer nevertheless. I have been alive for a long time in this planet. I have suffered, I've been beaten. It's a constant barrage of hits. And sometimes, some people really see the extremities of life. I was watching a documentary the other day of a 12-year-old lifer. I mean, that is absolute extremity. A 12-year-old murdering his own parents. I mean, I didn't even know a 12-year-old could do that. And I think about all the 12-year-olds in chat. I was actually talking to a 12-year-old the other day. I mean, they post stuff on YouTube and it's weird. They're very scary. You don't want to mess with kids, man. Here, so we decompose this fractions. Believe me, these equations will drive you to madness. You will lose hope in humanity. You will probably again, the only way to really look at this is to really form a connection with this problem. I see it as trying to solve the mysteries of life, the secret of the universe. Mathematics is the language of the universe, and so I look at this, you know, and the great thing about philosophy is that instead of getting you to panic, philosophy allows you to think about these things and try to understand it, and it gives you enjoy the opportunity. Again, another element of special forces mindset. I mean, special forces looks for this kind of minds that are able to adapt, able to have a philosophy about what's going on. Hey, we're in this very excruciating situation, very painful existence right now. Let's think about something. Let's try to. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do here is basically, now you'll see that you will see that on the left side of the equation we're gonna play a little bit. You know, it takes a lot of philosophical mind to really look and examine the puzzles of life and to solve them. And I am no expert, but I myself have been in very traumatic, very abusive, very difficult, harsh environments, and I was not able to. I was constantly under emotional barrage, very unrational thinking. I'm surprised to be here, you know, and just thinking about here and watching all the documentaries about death row has given me a lot of insight of how much I matured, how much those people matured, basically because of their experience. Now you will see that the denominator on the left side, we basically have to distribute that on the right side of the equation. Now we'll write that in there. I've never thought ever in my life that I would make mathematics video, talk about mathematical concepts, algebra, calculus, all these things. Never in my life. And the reason being is because it just, you know, I'm a very, you know, I love technology. Ever since I was little, I dreamt about building my own Android, building my own, you know, submarine, building my own drones. It actually exists now. I mean, I daydreamed about when I was little about sending drones to another country and launching like missiles and gathering intelligence. And when you look at the news, man, and they're all over the place. They are literally dropping AGM-88s on people's heads. Snake eye guided missiles in people's foreheads. Like it's another day, you know. It's very, you know. As you can see, when you distribute that, you will see that they cancel. they cancel the denominator, so it's really no point of writing that down. I do have a shortcut method. I'm not quite sure. I think this is the shortcut method. I will apply it, but it has to be at a very specific step, because you can get confused while you're doing this. Very confusing. Very confusing environment. Basically, we do the same thing for the second term. The bottom will get canceled out, and again, our goal here is to get those powers out. We will see that those powers will coincide with each term. An algebraic method that I've never been exposed to until now, but I will go more in depth once I complete this. And we can see here that we now have distributed the bottom term to our right side. Very important step. I'm at this time feeling very bloated because my dumbass ate a 400 calorie cookie this morning when I was on a diet. Why did I do that? Really unsure. I thought I could just grab one, especially with the lack of sleep. My blood sugar must be off the wahoo at this time. As we can see here, you'll see that there's powers. Let me see if I can underline that. Well, how we have those powers that we just want to see, and we have x squared. So what we will do is basically you know, do the same thing. We're gonna have ax squared, and do we have bx? We have that. Wow, it doesn't look like we have that. Do we have that? Oh, yes we do. Yes we do. We have x squared, as you can see. And we'll have minus 2x look like, negative 2a, and then we'll have, wow, I think I did this problem before. This deals with, I guess that's just a review then. I think this problem looks very similar, but it's good practice nevertheless. I'm not sure if I did this on my last video. Okay, hold on, I got it all wrong. Basically, this is negative 2ax, by the way. And this is, then we have bx, looks like. Then we have negative 2b. And okay, so oh, yeah, is that right? Let's see. Yes, that's right. We'll simplify those factors. Hey, Dewey's live. I didn't even know that. Oh no, that's not him. That's just me. That's just another host. Grizzly or something. All right. A Twitch player, I guess. all we have to do here is factor the coefficients. We'll see that we'll have the powers. Sort of, you have to sort of look at the forest to be able to see this, and also see the trees in the forest. Yeah, I kind of have to do it simultaneously. Then all we have to do here now is to basically plug in the coefficients, if I understand it. So you'll get, you'll have 5, so you will have a plus. Wow, I'm actually hungry, but I feel bloated. Can you believe that? I feel fat, but I'm hungry. Unbelievable. It's the worst feeling in the world. I think someone's cooking steak in the kitchen and I can smell it. So you can see that we just equate all the coefficients. Pretty magical, if you ask me, how this is even possible. So we equate all of that, and now we have to figure out. We'll see that b equals, yeah, this problem looks very similar. We'll see that b equals -1. We'll plug that into the second equation. We'll get 2 negative a plus -1 equals -3. We'll have 2 negative a -2, and we'll see that that a equals 1. So b is -1, a is 1, and once we know that, we can find out c, and in this case c is 1. It's gonna be, looks like it's gonna be 4. Alright, so let me write down those factors on the right hand side of the wall. So we'll have a equals 1, b equals -1, and then we'll also have c equals 4. All we have to do is erase this. I can erase all that work and go to our next level. Now, it took about 7 minutes, I believe. If I've been talking for 10 minutes, I believe, maybe 8, but this pro process took about maybe 15 minutes, I think. It does take a lot of time. So we are now in step, did the whole distribution. We, what would that step be called? I'll just call it system of equations. Was step 3. Again, that's what I did, system of equations. And now what I'm going to do now is go on to step 4. Now that we have the system of equations, we figure out what a, b, the coefficients, oh actually, I'll write down coefficients. Well, the next step to our problem is basically integrate, right? So basically, how do we integrate? We just use this equation. A was 1, and you will see that was 1 over x. Then plus b was -1, so that's going to be x squared, and then we have c was 4, and then you'll have x to the minus 2, and we'll have an integral in front, e of x. Now we can integrate this. So my understanding that this is not definite integral, it's an indefinite integral, so our life is much easier. So we'll start with the first term, and we have 1 of x. Integral of that is going to be ln of x. Take the integral of the second term, which is a negative. We'll put that in front, and you'll have ln of x squared. And you'll see that this is going to lead to the loss of logarithm, which is, must be memorized. It must be common knowledge. We'll put 4 in front, and we'll have ln x minus 2. Voila. And now we simply have to put all these functions together. By the way, we have to ensure and must understand that every time we have these linear functions, it is an absolute value, and that there's also a constant which is called c. Very drawn out process, very important that each method is right. It takes a lot of practice, and this is probably why I do this in the first place. Let's see here. So now we have to use the step 4. Step 5 is basically, I'm seriously about to pass out, man. It's insane. Like, I am so exhausted, but I saw a Special Forces documentary, and really inspired me to just push my bodies to the limit. Like I said, I've been on this earth for a very long time. Very exhausting experience. So we're gonna go ahead and let me write down and emphasize the loss of logarithm. So I'm gonna say loss of log. And we'll see that subtraction is sort of like division in the world of logarithm. And you have a plus sign, x minus 2 absolute value. Every time you have a plus sign, that's the product of logarithms. So what we'll do, this will cancel out. You will have 1 over x. You have ln 1 over x. And then you'll have, over that will be, oh no. It's going to be x, basically 1 over x multiplied by the absolute value of 2 raised to the power of 4. Let's see. Looks like I think I made a mistake. The logarithm of x minus ln of x squared. Oh, I see. Alright, I think I made a mistake here somewhere. Right, I have to kind of figure out where I went wrong. I'm going to use a red marker to see what I went wrong. Ln x minus x squared. Hold on, we had a negative ln x squared. How did we not? Oh, this is actually x because of the, I'm thinking about it. Hold on, I gotta look it up. There's something not right. absolute value. It became positive. What? Oh, okay. It's if you look here, it's actually, if you take the logarithm, it's gonna be like that, and you'll have like x negative 2, and then you basically if you take an integral plus 1, it's be negative 1, so it'll be 1 over x. So you don't have ln of x squared, actually 1 over x. So you have actually 1 over x. Alright, so it's going to be 1. Well, it's a good thing I caught that. So it's 1 over x here plus the ln of x, which is an absolute value. Now you can put them together. Basically what you'll have is basically what you'll have is 1 over x plus the ln of x. So you kind of have like those guys multiplied together plus c, and that's going to be your answer. Alright, so pretty much that's dealing with the linear functions, partial fractions, repeating linear functions that we were looking for as the basically step 1. Make sure that we expanded the denominator to 2 terms. Here we have x squared, and then decompose it. So we have the coefficients a plus b and c. Go to step 3. We utilize the system of equations to solve for the coefficients, and once we get the coefficients, we plug them in and we integrate, and then we use the proper laws. In this case we had the law of logarithm, and that's how we solve partial fractions with repeating linear fractions. Speaking of linear fractions, talking about the denominator, which has which has powers greater than 1. I'm gonna go eat some steak. Actually, I should continue with my diet. I think, because I'll just eat a little bit because I'm about to pass out. I think I'm gonna continue with. I think I'm gonna be talking about. Basically quadratic fractions and factors, quadratic factors. Which cannot be factored with real numbers. Holy crap. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, this kind of stuff makes me want to shoot myself, honestly. Integrating with partial fractions. Yikes. Oh. Reducible x squared. So what the hell do they do here? X minus. Wow. How do they do that? Yeah, good question. How did they, or how were they able to do that? They must have done something. I'm just looking over the next equation that I'm going to do, and it's really ridiculous. I'm confused as to how they were able to come up with that equation. Basically, oh, I see. They already had the two factors here, but for A, they had to basically take x squared out of there. I see. So they can move an x plus minus 4. And did that. So there's two steps. Alright, so I will be looking over at quadratic factors on my next video. This one was live for 40 minutes. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to take a quick break and relax a little bit. Turn off this blackboard.